Good morning, my crafty friends. It's Krista here from Second Chance Creation. Finally getting to make this video, and we've had a bit of a storm last night, so I shut everything down. Hubby's away, so all the PowerPoints, everything is switched off, so there was no internet and anything. It's not that it went away, but I do that because it was a big electrical storm. And even on the switchboard outside, I switched off all the aircon switches and the pump switches, and yeah, so it doesn't draw any energy. So, and it went right into the late of the night. So I didn't get to put the video up. I've got it all set up in my Etsy store, but I haven't activated yet. So here she is. And the storyline is the lady in green. What's her name? You'll have to wait. The lady in green left something behind, and they are really trying very hard to find her. Her sisters are worried. The gentleman that took her to a cafe just got a little note from her. She left a lot of receipts behind. She obviously went to a dressmaker. She must have wanted to go travelling. There's a bit of info of travelling in there. So, you know, they're trying to find the lady in green. She left something precious behind, which you'll have to wait to the end. So let me tell you about this journal and how it's put together. When I first started with the journal, I had a totally different cover, and it didn't suit. And even what I was going to use as a cover, and then the doily and that, it just didn't grab me with the storyline. So I had to put it aside and went through my fabric stash, and then I found the colour, and then I worked my storyline around the colour. So probably sounds a bit really weird, but yeah. So I did a fair bit of layering in this. It's a grungy style journal, you know me, but it's not a full-on grunge. I did a lot of ink blending on pages, but not every page. But what I have used for all of those people, now don't be in shock, I've actually bought a DigiKit. Yes, I've bought a DigiKit. Bonnie, if you're watching this, don't be disappointed. My first DigiKit, and I actually really needed it because I didn't have anything to go with the storyline, and I really wanted the storyline to where it was heading. And the DigiKit is from TaylormadeJournals, and I'm going to leave the link to the Etsy store below. Now, you get so much of this kit. It's just amazing. And I was after some invoices. Now, I got this idea again from Laurie GirlOnTheRidge, and I thought, what a great way to have receipts and invoices in the storyline, because that's what she left behind. She obviously was getting some dresses made, some shoes made, gloves made, and, you know, she even earrings or necklaces. So, you know, I needed some receipts. So definitely TaylormadeJournals, and there's just so many pages. I was just in awe. And I've used some of my own ephemera, which was pretty limited. But, you know, yes, so Bonnie, I'm sorry. You are the 100% recycler, but I just broke a rule. And I definitely try not to break it too many times. The cover is made from furnishing fabric, and what I used is the inside is padded with, okay, those bubble wrap bags. All right, I didn't have any wadding left, and what I did was I cut a piece out to what size I wanted my journal, because it was, you know, it was just the perfect length. I had to cut a little bit off. So what I did was I stitched around it once I had the shape. So I stitched that around individually, and then I attached the fabric. I did not glue the fabric on because it'll come through the fabric, and but what I did do, I stitched right down and around, and then I zigzagged around, so it's very, very secure. The back has a beautiful pocket, which is coffee dyed wedding lace, and I did a lot of layering in here. So tattered doily, one of my leftover pieces of skins, and that's why when I make my skins I make extra so that I can use them for when I do layering or collage, just so that you can see some of this print of dressmaking pattern paper through, which is part of the story as well. Some pretty green fabric, but I just wanted a little bit peeking out. Edge of a doily, some paper stock, cardstock that was gifted to me, and some vellum. Okay, now and I wanted the vellum so that it softens the polka dots around her. I didn't want those dots right. Sounds all weird and wonderful, but that's how I wanted it to look. And of course then I inked the edges. A piece of metal filigree that was broken, so I've just popped that in there. This is a beautiful ruffle, and this is the curtain fabric I still have lots of, but look at the colouring, it just matches the lady in green. And because this fabric frays quite a bit, I actually singed it with a candle. I went along and singed the edges so that they don't fray. And as you can see, this one frays, but it is singed, okay? So it won't fray anymore. A little bit of fabric that I twirled around and just popped on this beautiful earring. It looks like a button, but it's actually, or was, an earring. Okay, so there's a lot of recycled goodies in there, Bonnie, so I'm sorry. And another little piece of doily underneath that was coloured, food colour dyed quite a while ago. That was my last piece, so I have to make some more. And a piece of this fabric, it's a sort of a rayon fabric. And then of course I used my organza piece, which is the same as the tie, and made a big bow on this. All right, and then on the back is the coffee dyed pocket lace that I mentioned, and has something in there which I'll get to in the last part. So let's find out where this lady in green has been and what she left behind, because that's what we want to know, isn't it, in this storyline. So as you can see, you know, I've stitched down only, not across. So because trying to stitch across, it's going to look weird, because, you know, you might not get on these lines and it might look a little bit off, but I wanted it padded, and you can actually hear the crinkling. Bookmaker's note that I've popped in here, and she must have left an earring behind. Okay, so yeah, so they've found all these bits and pieces in the room. It's called Wentworth Place, and it was a parlour, and she left a lot of the things in that room. So Digi is part of the digital kit, and I've popped on pieces of tattered trim just here of the laces. It must have been a sample or something. Here is a piece of just a fabric flip. This is or was a zipper, and it had all these beautiful little stones on the edge of it, so I've used a piece of that. Some of the pages are ink blended with my chalks, and a light pink, and then the green, and then I did a edging. Okay, and some pages I left plain. This is out of my own book that I photocopied. And piece of organza, just like a little flip. Lots of scraps of paper. Bit of cardstock. This is an image that I discovered here. Digi. Okay. That's what I'm just going to say. I'm not going to go through the whole name each time. So that you know this is a Digi. And I've just made a little scrap piece there. So she obviously went to the dressmaker and got her measurements taken. This is an original old measuring tape. So I've used some really original items in here. Some lace, pocket. And this is like a piece of fabric. It was gifted to me. I can't remember who gifted this to me. It was quite a while ago. Little flip. Magazine picture. Bit of lace trim. Made this little scrappy little booklet. And I sewn the pages in, did a bit of stamping. Digi. Okay, and that just goes in here. And that was the other side. And this is the Digi kit, and that was the other side of this, I do believe. Or it came that way. Okay, and I've just cut that because it was too big. So that's a digital kit. TaylormadeJournals. I'm going to leave the link of the Etsy store below. Lots and lots of pages of goodies. So I love how this all stained. I did a fair bit of coffee dyeing 2 weeks ago. This is a book page out of one of the old books I had. Look at that. The sisters are worried. You know, they've left, the lady in green left some of her clothes behind in a room. Lettice and Madeline are worried. Lovely strip. This came off an old cotton spool that I had. Tape it was. Digi. And obviously she was looking at getting a handbag made. This is of a handkerchief. It had some embroidery on it and I coffee dyed it. If you can see the embroidery on that. Isn't that gorgeous? And I've popped on a little button. Digi. Some cotton threads on it. Music paper. Digi. Hand crocheted and hand knit. So I've popped on a piece of crochet edge on there. And this is from my book. So the part of the bodice and a little piece of fabric just there, and that's just a little flip. So she's left a lot of things behind, and she left a note behind with these two gentlemen. They're quite bewildered, you know, where is she? And it's actually a book page and it's a flip. Let's see what's in this note. It's a thank you note. I wonder what she thanked them for. Wait and see. Paper bag. Digi. Here's an invoice. Obviously she wanted to get some things embroidered and made. This is a piece, old pattern piece from a pattern, out of my pattern box, with all the pattern papers in it. And I've just ripped that out. And that just goes in here. Little paper clip scrapbook, and this one I've just put on a piece of bar cloth. And this come off an envelope. Someone must have sent me something in the USA. And what I've done is I've cut a little split on the top to pop the paper clip through, and you can take these off and you can always add or renew them. I've made it so that you can you know, change it if you wish. And this is a pocket. Now I have a piece of bar cloth and I photocopied it and onto my coffee dyed paper, and look at it. The texture of it just feels amazing. You'd swear it was real cloth, but it's not. It's actual paper. And here is part of the cloth here. And I've made a pocket, and that just clips onto the pocket. And that's the back of it here. I've put a piece on there so that you don't just see the paper. And here's another piece that I cut off. So this part here I've tore off from here. And some more laces and trims and pieces of patterns and another invoice digi. Okay. So I could never, and the digital kit is 1930s. The centre of the signature, I've made a pocket. This came out of a big book and had all these various fabric swatches in them. And I thought, oh, like pictures of fabric swatches, and I've made a pocket. And of course, the lady in green left behind a fabric swatch. Thank you, Laurie, for this great idea. And I've used some fabrics that I've used throughout, not all of it, but most of them. And yeah, so she must have looked at some buttons and some lace trims and fabrics. So as you can see, I've used some of this fabric here and ribbons. Definitely was looking at quite a bit of fabrics. And she's left this behind, so she was obviously going to get some beautiful clothes made. And this must be the invoice for it. Has it been paid? Maybe, maybe not. And I've got a stamp that has script writing on it, and I used just part of it to make it look as though it's been stamped, but she might still be owing some money. And this is digi as well. And it's addressed to Miss Ella. There you go. The lady in green is called Miss Ella. And here I've done a bit of stamping. These are just scraps that I used in this journal. This is part of here. Okay, when I rip the pages, I use the pieces of that as well. And the polka dots, so nothing gets wasted. And I've popped that onto an index card that I coffee dyed, and it just happened to be green. And I did a bit of stamping on here as well. They found some travelling information, tickets, and she must have gone to the theatre as well. And here's some tickets here. These are out of my own stash, and this is a came off a Tim Holtz paper pad. Some tickets, and yeah, is that a shilling? Interesting. She left all these behind. She must have wanted to go travelling. This I printed out maybe 4 years ago. Been floating around in my shabby chic box for that long, and I printed this out on photo cardstock. So what I've done was I've yes, I glued some of my coffee dyed paper on the back because it was a really stark white. So and then I just I printed these out postcard. You might have remember a video I shared where they came out really tiny. Well, this is a bigger version, and I got this from Pinterest. So I just glued it on, made it look like a real postcard, and stitched around it as well. So she obviously saved this and was going to, you know, use it, but didn't write on it. And we found some diary pages with nothing in them, just a ticket to London, a number, maybe a number to a safe or something, I don't know. So Miss Ella left a lot of things behind. Bit of lace trim, very heavily coffee dyed. Here for my little scrappy paper tag. Now, I can't remember if this was from TaylormadeJournals, because I know I printed out some ladies as well from Pinterest, but it may have been, so I'm not sure. but I know all the other stuff is. This was wrapping paper and it had flowers on it. So I fussy cut the flowers out. I scrunched them up and then lightly put the chalk over the top of it. This is the actual fabric. It's not paper on the bar cloth. And just used packaging paper to make a scrappy little tag. This is an original postcard from Holland. Okay, I didn't make this. This is an original one. And maybe she was going to be travelling there. Who knows? Who knows? Like I said, Miss Ella left a lot of goodies behind. Love how this marbling's come out. Another pocket I made from baking paper. Scrappy little notebook. So it has 1, 2, 3 pockets, just the way I folded it. A little booklet, okay, and you can tuck something behind here if you wish. And I used a bit of really nice mint green fabric tulle, decoupaged, and then I fussy cut the key out and decoupaged the key on there as well. Digi, okay. Okay, she had some embroidery done. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that just gorgeous? This came off a napkin. Okay. Digi. Silk dresses. She was obviously going to be making silk dresses. So they're Digi. So you can understand why I used it, because I could not find anything like it. Now, I can't remember if this was Digi or not, so I'm sorry. And I've just popped that onto some cloth. And what I did was I just folded the page over to make a pocket. Now, the gentleman might have taken out to a cafe or something. And she said, thank you for the meals. Obviously written something on there, and they found these, and the gentleman did say yes, we did take her out to the cafe. This is one of my from my book, and I printed it out and fussy cut her and just popped a bow on it. I'll just pop that in over. And this is a paper clip, and it holds information about a shoe. So she obviously wanted to get some shoes made. This is part of the bar cloth paper, and I did a bit of stamping. And look at this. Isn't this, and this is just scrappy paper, book pages, the end of the book pages that I used. You can see the page numbers still on there. Okay, this is a piece of very vintage wallpaper. It has this really nice sort of felty type embossed pattern on it, and I thought how cool would that be for a shoe. And that just goes on back here. And I do believe I got this from Irene Seriously Scrapping. Old vintage button, a little ruffle, Digi, and obviously wanted to get some gloves made. Okay, and I've made this into a little flip, and I've put on a little piece of, that's the only piece of that mint lace that I had left. I thought, oh, I'll use it on here. Obviously all these ladies are wearing gloves there, and that's a Digi, and there is the other piece of lace. So it had that little piece left. That's the last piece I've had. Bit of tattered doily, flat back pearl. This is the one, I'm sure this was a Digi, those little ladies. And I decoupaged, and I made a little flip. These are mine from my book. This is off Pinterest, my little tag. This is Digi, and this is out of my book. And decoupage with a napkin. Sisters are worried as well. You know, where is she? They're really worried. They haven't heard from her. This out of an old book. and made it into a flip. Lovely little fabric. And this is just a little piece. It's like a bookmark. Did a bit of stamping. Some more of the embroidery. And here we come to the last page. This must be the room that she stayed in at the kids' parlour, Wentworth Place. I don't think this is a maid. She doesn't look as she's dressed. It might be another relative looking for her, and she's left something behind. And I've made that page into a flip. And what did she leave behind? A little mirror purse. Okay. I found this in an op shop about 4 years ago, and never thought what I would use it for, but I've kept it. So it's as is in the original condition, and I thought it just lent itself to the story. And inside, what's inside? A photo, Tim Holt's paper doll, of course, and the mirror. So she obviously did leave something behind, didn't she? And they're trying to find her to give this back. It might mean something to her. And that's the story. And then on the back is another postcard they found. Here I decoupaged a napkin onto an old calendar. And I had this out of the garden, which was a bit of weed that I dried. And then once I decoupaged this, I covered it with Mod Podge. Backed some coffee dyed paper on it because the calendar on the back was a glossy white, and stitched around it. You know, again, she didn't write anything on it. She might have been collecting these postcards on her travels. So Miss Ella, the lady in green, is still a mystery, but they found all these goodies. So I hope you enjoyed the storyline of this journal. I just really enjoyed creating her, and I hope there's a bit of inspiration in there for you. I've really been inspired by Laurie from Girl on the Ridge. Thank you, Laurie. And like I said, the Digi kit I used, sorry Bonnie, from TaylormadeJournals. And I'm going to leave the Laurie's channel and TaylormadeJournals channel, and I will leave Bonny and Clive's link below as well, because she is 100, well I would say 200% recyclers, and you should go over and check her out as well. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch the flip through on this, and I'll put her on my Etsy store. I do believe she could also already be sold. And I will be doing some tidying up today after the storm last night. And I'm still doing the little treasure box for March. That will happen in a few days. So that's still coming up. Until next time, you know what you've got to do. I won't be crafting today, but like I said, I'll be tidying up. Bye for now.